what do you think of does Google Plus? It felt to me like they were trying to do things in a leaner way than leaner in your sense than in.
Absolutely.
I think they spent a boatload of money, but I think in the sense of like kind of gradually rolling out a bunch of different things, experimenting versus let's say Buzz and Wave.
Yeah, if you look at the sequence of Google Lively, Buzz, Wave, et cetera, leading up to Plus, you can see that they're getting better at it. They're rolling things out with less hype. It's hard to believe that Google Plus actually less hype, but really it was than before. And they're
They did the +1 button first.
Exactly
so
right.
Then they eventually did
they're going for a much more narrow, specific use case. That all seemed good. I still think they did a lot of unnecessary hype at the beginning, and they kept reporting on their vanity metrics. Like now we got 10 million users on Google Plus, and that makes me really nervous. My question is like, well, how many engaged users are there really? Are people really using it?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think there's a clear improvement
also
from
those numbers
earlier.
will cut both ways, right? Because if you start touting, I mean, the reports
Yeah,
are already
exactly right.
down, and
Yeah, I just think it would have been better off for them to avoid all that publicity if they could. But
I'm not sure they did it though. Did they, or did the pundits? I'm not sure.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I don't. I was in the strategic meetings where they plan their launch strategy, and it is. I got to be really honest. When you're in a big company, you put a big company brand on something, the stakes go up. It is harder to do this iterative experimentation, which is why we often try to. When I work with big companies, I have to try to get them to run the experiment under a different brand name in private in some other market, just to figure out, hey, does the thing basically work before the press starts piling on? As much as possible, we want to separate out the product launch when customers see the product from the marketing launch when we pound our chest and talk to TechCrunch.
And I guess I won't bring up Apple because Apple's like such a special case for everything.
Such a special case.
I think you can't use Steve Jobs as a counterexample to any business argument because he's sort of he's like godlike or something.
He has singular, unique qualities. Yeah. And look, I look forward to finding out how things really work at Apple. I mean, I think there's
actually read
some really
something
cool
recently.
stuff.
During Fireball had some interesting thing where he was talking about how there was something about how HP's releasing 5 products to the market, but Apple did release 5 products too, but they just did it internally or something. I don't know how they tested it and all these other things.
That's my belief, is that they have a pretty rigorous process internally that they don't talk about publicly because it actually suits their purposes strategically for everyone to think it's just Steve has a good idea and everything else is details.
Yeah.
That prevents people from actually copying what's really working there.